This video is going to completely turn imposter syndrome on its head. So make sure to watch till the very end if you never want to allow imposter syndrome to hold you back again. I'm Camille Ravine, and you may have noticed these days that it's very common to hear people say that they have this thing called imposter syndrome. For those of you who don't know, imposter syndrome can show up in many different ways. It might feel like you don't belong somewhere. You aren't qualified to be there. You're going to be found out. You're going to be found out to be a fraud or to be seen as someone who just isn't qualified to be in that position. It might show up as thoughts of not being good enough or worthy. And this could be in so many settings. It could be at work. Maybe you've started a new role and you got a promotion. And in that new role, you might feel like, oh, I don't feel like I belong here. You know, I'm not qualified for this role. People are going to find out that I don't belong here. It might show up as a new parent. You might feel like you're not qualified to be a parent, to raise your kid. Or maybe you've been running a business. You could be new in that business. You might be in it for a few years. And with your clients, you might feel like when you're working with them, they're going to find you out. They're going to find out that actually this person that they think you are. I've been one of those people many times, telling myself that I have imposter syndrome for a variety of things. And this all changed when I discovered something. Are you ready for this? Imposter syndrome is not a syndrome at all, but simply a passing thought. A passing thought that we are far more likely to have when we're in a low mood or we're overthinking. Let that sink in for a second. All right, we could call this the imposter thought. Let's have some fun with this, right? And give it a name. Sometimes this imposter thought might come along and give us a visit. It might come along in our minds and here we go, here it is again. Now, this doesn't mean that we suddenly have a syndrome. It just pops in and that's all it has to mean. Just the thought of being an imposter has now popped in. And that's okay. It's nothing that we actually need to worry or stress about. Now, why is this useful to see in this way? If I start getting worked up when those thoughts come along and tell myself I have imposter syndrome, what do you think that does? It reinforces the narrative. It reinforces the story, which makes it worse. You see, we only believe we are an imposter when we take ownership of those thoughts. Otherwise, it's just a friendly visitor that's passing through. I still sometimes have those thoughts come along. The only difference now is I don't pay them as much attention or give them as much meaning. And that's the difference. So to summarize, imposter syndrome isn't really a syndrome. It's just a passing thought.